Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Our first guest, Bolajo Fawehinmi, is a former model and founder of Few Model Management. In the past few years, Bolajo has written the script for Nigerian models, scouting, training, and giving them international exposure. Today, several Nigerian models are walking the globe boldly and unapologetically taking no prisoners, matching international models brands for brand. Thanks to the Few Models platform. Bolajo, welcome to the morning show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're on record as having said your ambition is to change the narrative in the modeling industry.
Yeah. Yes.
How have you managed to change the narrative? And why that ambition? And what has been the story?
I mean, I started up as a model. Obviously, in school, I was scouted as to compete in a competition, which I won. And I mean, I looked at myself at that time, and when I got into the industry, I saw a different perspective of what we see outside. And obviously, coming from a family that, my family is solid on education, they're solid on getting a professional job. That's what they say. And I looked at it. Modeling is a different side that people don't know, and I don't think people were willing to understand at that point in time. And I just took that up and said, you know what, I love this. Maybe I don't want to be a model, but I love the back end of what is happening in modeling. I love management, and that's what I studied in school, management accounting. And I said, maybe I can bring something different to the table. Maybe I can, change the international perspective of modeling, change the Nigerian perspective of modeling, and, I don't think it's bad, the way that people see it. And that was the drive initially, starting up.
Well, you scout for models. When you scout for models, what do you look out for? Because sometimes I see these models, and the question I raise is, what's the definition of beauty? Is it, beautiful women you look out for, or you just look for clothes hangers?
Modeling, before it used to be people looking for clothes hangers. Before it used to be people looking for physical beauty. For me, when I came into the industry, the narrative I wanted to create was to look for everything. Physical beauty, clothes hangers, and inward beauty, like not just somebody that you see and appear beautiful. I want strong women. I want confident women. I want grown girls. I want girls that are relentless, girls that want to achieve something. For me, it's a career. I'm building a career. I'm empowering them. So it's important that they're not just physically attractive, I mean, that's part of it. That's why we're celebrated. That's why we're called models, because of the physical appearance. But that's just a very tiny part of it. So when we scout for models, it's very difficult to explain to people and say this is what we are looking for, because we don't even know what we are looking for. It's just a connection. When we find the girl that has the right, obviously, appearance, and appearance doesn't even matter anymore right now. Like you can see the runway now, the girls that are shorter are doing the show, the girls that are bigger are doing the show. It's all about the personality. It's all about the grit, that particular girl that just want to, do something different. And so for me, it's different right now. I see
many of your models fit into a stereotype.
Yeah.
They have to be slim, they have to be, of a certain type.
Yeah.
What do you think of this growing idea about diversity in modeling?
Yeah.
The handicapped or the physically challenged, or even plus-size women.
Yeah.
But you don't seem to be going in that direction. You are still following that stereotype.
No, I'm not.
The girl has to be size 12,
No.
size 14.
No. No, I'm not, actually. I think I'm one of the people actually changing that. Because before we came, it used to be everybody needs to be like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet. I have 5'5" girls. I have 5'6" girls looking at the height criteria, because you just have to bring something to the table that I can understand and my team can understand, right? And then we also had, right now, the thing is you want to change the industry, but you also have to be careful that you're not pushing, because there's criteria in every industry. There's nothing we can do about that. For you to be a model, you have to be certain, you have to have certain look. That's why you are called a model. So now that we're trying to say we're Africans, we're a little curvier, we're this one, we can't impose it like that. We have to come in a way that everybody is going to understand it and follow it. Because if you impose it, it's going to be a trend that will stop. But if you bring it in quietly and everybody can understand what you're doing, then they can follow up. I have a girl now, I have 2 girls who are curved models. I call them curved models. I don't call them plus size, because they're not really plus size, and I just say curved model. That's the name that we give them. We don't call them plus size models. And they're doing, because even now...
We had Philomena Kwao on this program.
Oh, really?
International model.
Okay.
And I was calling her plus size because she was really,
yeah,
and beautiful, elegant woman.
Yeah.
who has done very well.
Yes, it's plus size is okay. That's the name that they call them generally, but I just started calling curved model because, you know, that's just my own way of calling them. And we have, like, during my show, my Fuse Next Phase this year, I wanted the curved model to win because I wanted to tell a story about African. You just have to celebrate an African woman. There's nothing we can do about it.
So were you influencing the show?
No, like
change the narrative.
No. What I'm saying is that I wasn't I mean, I don't have a choice. I have a panel that, you know, they decide. Okay. But I'm saying that I was rooting for, I mean, if you are the show, you have to root for somebody. Okay. I was rooting for her when I found her. I'm like, oh, this girl is beautiful. Somebody needs to see this. I wish she can win the show, you know, so that they can also see her in a different way. And I mean, I would manage her directly if she wins the show, you know.
Talking about stereotypical looks, when I heard that a former model, now employer of models, was coming on the show, I expected to see all the glam and the look, the hair, the heels, the stilettos, but I'm seeing something totally different. Have you always been like this? Or this was just the phase of you now being an employer of models?
No, I've always been like this. I mean, I used to be into sport. Okay. You know, I was a tomboy right from when I was young.
I used to model?
No, I don't anymore.
What's your size? 12? 14?
I'm not even up to that. I'm a US 4 and I'm a UK 8.
What?
I'm a US 4 and a UK 8.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, yeah, but that's not by choice. It just happens.
The industry size is a 2 or 0.
No, but
in some continents.
Actually, 2 and 0 actually are not allowed to work anymore. If you're 2 now, you have to go get a medical report. You know, I had a girl that was 2.
So you're not suffering from bulimia.
Yeah, you know, I had a girl that was 2. And she was supposed to do the Saint Laurent show. I'll tell you the story so that the world can understand what is going on. That fashion is actually not killing these girls. You know, some girls are just like that. Well, I had a girl that was size 2. When she was supposed to do the Saint Laurent show, you can imagine a girl that flew from Nigeria, went to Paris. I was with her. Everything was going on smoothly. She did a fitting for this show, which is already confirmed. And she got on the show. During the show backstage, they told her they were going to cancel her because she's too small. Because the Saint Laurent group says she's too small, you know? And this is Paris where everybody thinks that they must be small. But even in Paris, they are not in support of somebody extremely tiny in a weird way, you know? So, and they called me and I'm saying, but this is how she's been all her life. This is how I found that this is how you liked her. And obviously I had to fight that in a different way because that's modeling terms, you know, it's not. But I'm just trying to say how careful everybody is. We're not trying to say these models shouldn't eat. We advise them eat, but as your job, you should exercise as well. It's part of our job to at least keep fit, you know. I mean, it's even medically, it's even right for you to exercise, you know. So it's not, we don't preach that. But I mean, I'm like that because I can't, I eat.
Well, at some point in this conversation, I'm tempted to ask you to model for us and just turn this space into a catwalk, but maybe you wouldn't want to do that.
Let me ask you, you talked about transitioning from being a model to employing models because you wanted to change the narrative of the industry. You're how many years now in your business?
3.
3 years. Okay, so about 2 years back, there was this story, this internet sensation of Jumoke, the bread seller. You signed her on, and that didn't last long. She moved to another agency. In fact, her legal team said, it was widely reported that you didn't have the experience to handle her. How did that make you feel as a startup?
You know, the thing is, as much as I don't like to go back to that content, but there's so many interviews that came up at that time that I tried to waive because I didn't come into the business, you know, I didn't see this glam side of my management business again. I left modeling because of the glam. I mean, I can't do it, you know? And I'm here again. So I declined a lot of interview at that time. But I would still want to decline it because I just don't want to bring it back. Because at the end of everything, you call me unsuccessful, but at the end of 3 years, you call me unsuccessful about a year ago. The next year, I took like almost how many girls, you know, out of the country into a particular zone that no Nigerian has been able to get to. So I don't define my business as unsuccessful. I would define that particular or describe that particular lawyer as incapable. Because I have a lot of back-end situations that happen. I'm from a legal family. Everybody in my family is, even though I was not allowed to study law because I'm very big mouth, and my father was scared that somebody was going to kill me before I grow up, right?
Why? That's actually the talent you need as a lawyer.
You know, you
must be confident.
That's
you must
that.
be able to express
he was scared that that's gonna like lead me into. I mean, he was a judge, you know. So I understand law to the T, and for a lawyer to come on board and do some particular things that were not right, for a lawyer to want to be public, for a lawyer to, I just didn't understand it because that's not where I'm from. So we had our issues. So he went somewhere to say what I didn't do and tried to erupt the girl from my agency and took the girl to my colleague, a rival agency, just to set us as bad. But at that time when the whole thing was happening, I was in New York, and a lot of people were calling me for press, and I said, I'm not going to do press because that's not why I signed her. I signed her 2 weeks when I lost my dad. And when it blew up on the internet, it was a bad time for me because I didn't know that was what the whole thing was all about. I was going to blow up like that on the internet to start with because I'm still mourning, right? And there was a whole lot of, there's a lot of back end to that situation. I'm happy that recently she said, oh, thanks to Few Model for doing this on her Instagram page. And somebody said, oh, Bola, she's thanking you guys and stuff. And I'm like, because she knew what she did. Her international passport was by us. Everything around her was by us. We declined a lot of interview for her. We're trying to make this girl have a career in modeling, which is why you brought us to us, you know? So there's a whole lot of back end that went down with the lawyer that if he stands here today, I will tell him again. If you let me go...
Maybe it's not a question of the lawyer's competence. He probably was acting on the brief that was given by his client.
No, he wasn't. He was acting on his own brief because that situation is a different... I'm sure.
Because lawyer-client, conversation is privileged.
The other thing again is lawyer-client conversation is privileged, but if you're bringing your client to mind, which was not your client at the time that she was signed to Few Models, she became your client after that contract, which is actually contractually not okay for Few Models, but I allowed it because at the end of everything, we saw that particular case as a charity case. So that's why I said there's a lot of back end to it.
Things happen in business. But why Few? Why did you choose Few? Few Model, I wonder why Few? Why not something bigger?
Few is, people think when they say Few, it's like small, but it's actually not small. It's the acronym that we have for my surname. It's not usually my own name. It's all Fawehinmi call them say, oh, we're Few and stuff.
Okay.
And then I stole that.
So you mean every letter there, every alphabet there represents something?
No, it's Fawehinmi. We just it's not Fawehinmi, but we, the younger generation of Fawehinmi, kind of just say Few, just a short
Is it the same Fawehinmi from Ondo?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. You are the daughter of Justice Fawehinmi?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So what has been experience been? What challenges have you faced? Because it looks like a very competitive industry.
Yeah, it is competitive.
Yeah, so what are the challenges you have faced with the girls, with the jobs, with everything that goes into it? Managing models, which is a special world,
Yeah.
Everything thrown in, sex, drugs, all of that, beauty, talent, tantrums.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you define that for us?
That hasn't been a challenge for me, drugs, sex, and fortunately for me, I don't have that kind of situation on my hand. I try to, those are the kind of things I say that we look also into the personality, into the home. So we work hand in hand with the parents. So we're able to cope these children in a particular way and say, they're going into a different culture that is different from what they have here. But we try as much as possible to keep, tab. So I've not had those challenges when it comes to all of that. But I think the greatest challenge is for you to just take a girl from a situation and, transform the girl overnight. And I can back that up with a story. We had a beautiful girl, Eniola, that was scouted from a place in Lagos. And the whole modeling thing, it was too sudden for her. In less than 3 months, she started working Ferragamo. She started working Versace. She couldn't pronounce any of the design. Yeah, that's my beautiful girl. She couldn't pronounce any of the design. I can remember her saying, oh, Versace or something like, oh, So it's. I think that's a challenge that we face majority of the time.
I don't know how to pronounce too. What's the correct pronunciation?
I think, honestly, I don't want to go wrong on her because you say Versace, they say no to Versace, so it's, but she didn't even know them.
Your legs.
She doesn't even know them. So I think the greatest challenge for us is to be able to help these girls through this sudden success sometimes. Financially, sometimes the money just comes, they don't even understand. And
it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, you have to the press, the fame that they have overnight, coming from I mean, Eniola came from really nothing, you know, like, and she's grown in less than, that's actually, I have to keep, so there was a time I was with her in New York and she told me, I'm tired. That's what she told me. She said,
is she done modeling now?
No, she just told me, no, she's still there. Okay. By that time, she was just missing home. You know, she just doesn't, everybody's like.
How old is she? Let me ask you this question. Do you look, when you're looking at the criteria to employ these models, what are the things you look at? I know Ruben had asked you earlier, but I didn't get a concrete answer. Do you look at their age? Because sometimes we see that these models are probably not emotionally ready for this fame that they go into. So do you look at the age? What's the oldest person you've had to employ? Is he an industry statute that at a certain age you can no longer model? What's the least age you look at? And how many models do you have?
Let me rephrase that. What's the shelf life of a model? Okay? Now, I mean, at what age can you no longer be a model? At what point, in terms of physical appearance, that you will be considered irrelevant?
The thing is, you can't really decide that for anybody. We have girls that are 29, 30. I still have my friends on the runway that are walking the runway, and they don't look their age. I still have, you know, I have people older than me that's still on the runway doing their thing. So I don't think, when it comes to stopping, I don't think age should be a factor. I think it's a factor of appearance and the kind of momentum you build. Yeah, I mean, she's still on the runway and she's still killing it, you know. When it comes to scouting these models, we scout as young as 14.
Okay.
Really?
Yes. Just when we find the girl that has the look, we won't say, oh, because she's 14, we can't find you. We will find you. You just won't start. That's the difference, you know. Okay. We would find you. We would hide you. We would groom you quietly. We would talk to your parent every day. We will follow up on your educational activities every day, right? And then, gradually, maybe like 16, she starts doing a lot, just quiet shows here and there, a little. And at 18, they're fully ready to like start modeling properly.
What's the training procedure? Because, I mean, my former co-host on this program, Oji Okwe, is an international supermodel.
Absolutely.
You know, I saw one of her videos recently, and I saw a different person. You know, she was swinging, she was... and I said, is this the same person? You know, what's the training procedure? What are the special things that would differentiate a professional model from, say, well,
you turn to look at me.
What is that extra, you know, that makes that difference? You tell us.
The training process is really, it's not so tedious. It's just, we have to train the girl how to work. And I think the most important one is training them emotionally. You know, it's trying to caution them emotionally. It's not even the physical training. The physical training, if I find a girl today that doesn't know how to walk, and guess what? An international brand like Brand, when they found Eniola didn't know how to walk. Even when Prada chose her from Nigeria and flew her to Milan, she didn't know how to walk. So the physical training sometimes is not even as tedious as the emotional training of these girls. Like, oh, this is how you talk. This is how you say thank you. This is how you go to this place. This is how you call when you're in, you know. So those are the kind of...
Polish, finish.
You know, and polish is more important. And also for them to also, like, expect, teaching them what to expect is also, like, I think that's the most ridiculous one. Because now you're teaching somebody, this is what you should expect.
So do you still model, or you are retired?
I don't model anymore.
Really?
I mean, I just don't...
Well, I wanted you to model for us for a second.
I just don't have the time to model anymore.
While we think of a runway that Ruben would set up for you, let me ask this question on the economy of modeling. So the fashion industry globally is said to be about $1.3 trillion industry. And when you look at all of that, modeling is part of it. However, it doesn't seem so lucrative in this part of the world especially, and a lot of people are struggling. So as a parent, if I had a child, you say you discover these people as young as 14 sometimes, how do you convince me that my daughter would earn a good living from modeling?
Simply, how much do you pay your model?
Thank you for asking that question, you know, because it's something I would love to actually clear out. When I discover a child, I try as much as possible to communicate properly with the parents. Some people lie. They just say, oh, it's $1 billion, you're going to be making $1 billion. No. Some people do make billions from modeling. Some people earn a lot, like a lifetime resources from modeling. It's not everybody. And when I find your child, I'm not going to come to you and say, there are millions waiting for your child. What we can do is lead your child towards that and see if it's going to happen for them.
So how much do you pay them?
I don't pay because it's
How?
not. They're not. We're not. We didn't employ them.
You just scout for them.
Yeah. So when they work, they get paid for it.
And you get paid
give us an idea.
Yes,
You get a
absolutely.
commission.
Give us an idea of how that works out.
It's different from every designer. Some designers pay well, some designers don't.
Like
some
how
campaigns.
much? I would like to know.
Some.
Because I may decide to start modeling too.
I'm not too sure I can, publicly talk about that. But on an average, I would not let my model work for less than 100 or 150.
$100,000?
No, I'm talking about Naira, and I'm talking about locally.
Oh, okay.
Internationally, it's different. Internationally, sometimes contract, they have good contract. We have a girl who just need like $100,000 contract. We have a girl who we're looking into another $100,000 contract. When you have good contracts, you get to make good money. And when you're doing your shows there, these girls make money. So I'm not going to lie to you. They actually do make money,
all these ladies I see on TV strutting their stuff, it's just 100,000 Naira?
No, I said I wouldn't let my model go out for less than that.
Yeah.
Less.
So how much exactly will you go for?
For less than that, but I can't say the over the top. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Like how much?
It depends. There's some jobs that they've done. They've gotten like 5 million, 6 million, 10 million. It all depends on the situation and the job. But I'm saying that no model, at the end of everything, if I'm saying no model can go out for less than 100,000, they just need her to just go here and just like do like this. And I'm saying she can do that for less than 100,000. So I'm saying it's lucrative. It wasn't lucrative like this when I was a model. I was getting paid, I don't know what I was getting paid. Maybe like 50 or 20 or even 10 in some cases.
How many years ago was this?
Maybe 5 years ago or 3 years ago. Because as at the time that I started my agency, I was still a model.
Okay.
So it wasn't, but it's changing gradually. People are beginning to understand why they should pay for because it's also a craft.
But what do you consider before taking a job? What are the parameters before throwing your models into a particular job?
We look at the brand. We also want to work with good brands. We look at the brand. We look at the safety of the job. We look at where the job is going to. We look at the the coverage, location, and things like that.
Are there safety, security considerations?
That's why we look at the brand. We look at the brand. We look at where the job is coming from. So, if a brand calls us now, what we'll do first is find your brand first, understand the brand. If we have to set up a meeting, if it's a brand that we still can understand, we can set up a meeting. And I have bookers that do that, so we try to. But when the job is a little bit over the top and they can't really understand the brand, they have to step in to understand what is going on with the brand first.
Fashion has become big business in Nigeria these days. Only this week, we have how many now? About
fashion
2
shows.
or 3, fashion shows. Even the Arise News, in this company, there's also Arise Fashion Week.
Yeah.
So, what's your assessment of this renewed interest, sudden interest in fashion and these fashion shows in Nigeria?
I think it has to. It's just, I won't say it's a trend, but there's a lot of high now on the African markets. Everybody's seeing that, and the younger ones are beginning to also see that people are fighting for their passion, as opposed to what they earn. So now you see a lot of creative in this industry, which is why you're seeing us grow. A lot of people are coming in and bringing different ideas. So a lot of fashion week will keep coming up. A lot of fashion shows will keep coming up. And I think that's just that's why there's a sudden change. It's just people are now moving towards their passion more. Imagine if at that time when I was going to start my agency, I had an offer with Diamond, I had an offer with GT, I had an offer with a lot of companies. And I chose this not because I thought it was going to be lucrative, or because I was trying to prove a point at home. That you guys just can't neglect me because I want to be a model. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring management into this business. So a lot of people are beginning to have that kind of voice to fight for what they want in terms of creative space. And that's why you're seeing that space. A lot of talent are coming in and bringing different ideas. And it's going to keep happening like this.
So since you say you are not just looking out for physical beauty, that you are looking for emotional balance, confidence, and all that, If a guy like me with my small pot belly, if I want to model for you, will I qualify?
I'm so happy to say this. I don't manage male models. It's a very easy way to get out of the
why are you discriminating? I would like to come and model for you.
Why don't you do male models?
Walk on the wrong way.
I mean, but it's good to capitalize on your strength. You know, I used to manage male models, but it wasn't just the strength. It wasn't just my strength. And as the owner of the company, I'm going to run down the company if I don't understand my strength. It was just not my strength to manage them.
So when you see, how many models do you have again?
We have about 22 now.
22.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have seen that this industry is growing, like you've said. It's opening up to a lot of creatives coming. But there are girls who just have dreams of, I want to be a model when I grow up and all of that. When you see someone, can you tell the potential? Do you see a star in a person? Do you have a sixth sense? Or you just feel she can try and maybe decide to fall off along the way?
Yeah.
What is it you see in someone that makes you say, this person would get there, would do it?
Yeah, like people always say, I'm going to say the first statement that you say for us, like when people come to me and say, oh, I have this dream, I have this passion. And sometimes I just advise them and say, all your dreams and all your passion can be your way. That you have the dream to be, I had a dream to be a lawyer. I had a dream to be a doctor, but I can't stand blood.
You can still be a
lawyer. Maybe I will be, actually. Yes. But I can't stand blood. So sometimes that is just not going to work. And that's just to talk about the first thing that you said. Mm-hmm. But coming to the second aspect is, when we see the girl, we also can't put 100% and say this girl is going to be the, blown up girl. We just see the qualities that we want. And then we now know we have to go back to the back end and do our job as this person's manager, Then we sit down and say, I don't... Also, when I said 22 and you said that's quite a number, I think we are the ones with the smallest amount of models. People just sign. And it's like gamble. You either go well or you don't go well. I don't understand that. For me, it's management. Even 22 is a number. The only way we have 22 is because we have like 10 now international. So we have only 12 that we're managing locally. And 6 are going to leave us again in January. So I have to wait. I don't want to overwhelm my team and myself. So we need to sit down and say, this girl that we're bringing in now, what can she do? How do we think she can even change anything in the industry? Where do you think there's a market for her? So all of those things we have to digest first. And even though the girl is very amazing and fantastic looking, if we don't think we have the right market for her, we're going to let her go because somebody else might.
Well, I mean, you're basically an entrepreneur, but a different kind of entrepreneur.
Yes.
We've had some entrepreneurs on this program who have complained about the cost of diesel, the cost of transportation. Maybe you don't face that, but what are some of the disappointments? Some of the disappointments you have had to deal with managing the human resource?
But, like cost of diesel and cost of transport is like a general problem.
Really?
Yeah, obviously it's a general problem,
Do models drink diesel?
But we run diesel in the office. Like, we have an office space that we have to run. I have staffs that have to pay.
Yeah, but directly in terms of your line of business.
So when it comes to the direct costs, the direct costs that we incur, it's a lot, We have to incur costs on the physical appearance of the girls. We have to incur costs on their health. We got a call from Paris saying that one of the girls is a little bit heel and stuff like that. Paris needs to fix that. I called them and I said, you have to fix it. She's with you guys, But if she was in Nigeria, we need to attend to that. If we think that girl is going out... Now one of my girls just flew in from London yesterday night. And guess what? She's out of shape. Because she's just
What do you mean out of shape?
Like, obviously, her skin is now looking bad. I don't know what happened. She said she had some allergies. Her hairline is drawing to the back. She has some allergies. Allergies, maybe because she had a couple of things over there, So I can understand that. But we have to fix that because there are allergies. Guess what? They have to go away, So we have to understand what she eats. We need to take her to the nutritionist and say, what are the things that you ate at this particular point in time? These are the kind of costs that we have to incur. So we have to train them. We have to get catwalk trainers. We have to get photographers to develop them and keep shooting them. We have to. So it's a lot of direct cost, but at the same time, it's rewarding when you see the results, if it happens, if the result gets to happen. But those are the kind of direct costs that we incur directly on the girls.
Well, thank you very much, Bolajo, for coming to the morning show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I like your passion. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
By your dedication and enthusiasm.
Thank you so
Unfortunately, I can't come and model for you.
Yeah, don't sign your watches.
Since you only use female models. But maybe in the future you will expand. and be more gender inclusive and manage some of us men, yeah? Right?
I'll try to. No, I'm not
wish you the
promising.
very best
Thank you.
in this journey you're
you so much.
undertaking.